"Officers, thank God you're here. She won't leave. We've asked her dozens of times." That was my mother's voice, loud, theatrical, like she was performing for the neighbors. My father stood beside her, arms crossed. "We don't feel safe with her in our home anymore." I stood in the driveway, staring at two police officers walking toward me. My own parents had called the cops. On me. The officer looked at me. "Miss, do you live here?" I opened my mouth, but my mother cut me off. "She's been lying to us for months." That's when I realized they were actually trying to have me arrested. "My name is Emma. I'm 24 years old, and the day my parents called the police on me, I learned exactly how little I meant to them. I wasn't some rebellious kid or a troublemaker. I was a graphic designer. I worked remotely, made decent money. Nothing flashy, but stable. For the last 3 years, I'd been living with my parents, not because I was a failure, but because someone needed to take care of my grandmother. She had dementia, my dad's mother. And while my older brother Tyler lived 2 states away and visited maybe twice a year, I was the one who stayed. I gave up my apartment. I was there at 3 a.m. when she forgot where she was. I was there when she cried because she couldn't remember my name. My parents always favored Tyler. He was 28, successful, ambitious, the son who made something of himself. I was just the helper, the one who stayed behind, the dependable one. Grandma passed away 4 months before all of this. I was still grieving, still waking up sometimes and forgetting she was gone. But the second she died, my parents changed. Cold, distant, impatient. I wasn't rich. I wasn't popular. But I had something they didn't know about: patience, documentation, and a promise I'd made to my grandmother. Has your family ever treated you like this? Share your story below. 2 weeks after Grandma's funeral, my parents sat me down at the kitchen table. My father didn't even look at me. "We think it's time you found your own place." I blinked. "I'm happy to stay and help out. I've been covering some of the bills anyway." My mother cut me off. "We didn't ask you to do that. This is our house, Emma. We need our space back." I noticed Tyler then, smirking from the hallway. He'd flown in that morning. No one told me he was coming. "Come on, Em," he said. "You can't live with Mom and Dad forever. It's kind of embarrassing." Embarrassing. I'd spent 3 years caring for our grandmother while he sent a birthday card once a year. "I wasn't freeloading," I said quietly. "I was helping." My father's tone went ice cold. "You have 1 week." I was hurt, confused, but I started packing. 3 days later, I came home from a coffee shop and my key didn't work. They'd changed the locks. I stood there on the porch, trying the door over and over like an idiot. Then I called. No answer. I called again. Finally, my mother picked up. "We told you to leave," she said. "You're not welcome here anymore." "My stuff is still inside," I said, trying to stay calm. "You can't just lock me out. If you come back, we're calling the police." She hung up. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, shaking. Everything I owned was in that house. My clothes, my equipment, photos of Grandma. I drove over anyway. When I pulled up, my parents were standing on the porch. My mother had her phone in her hand. She dialed. I got out of the car. "Mom, please, just let me get my things." She didn't even look at me. 10 minutes later, 2 police officers pulled up. The neighbors were watching. Mrs. Alvarez from next door. The couple across the street with the dog. I wanted to disappear. "Do you live here, miss?" the officer asked. "I've been living here for 3 years," I said. My father stepped forward. "She's a guest who overstayed. We want her removed." The officer looked at me. "Do you have proof of residency? Mail? A lease?" I pulled out my phone, showed him some emails, but my parents were ready. "She's been using our address," my mother said smoothly. "We've asked her to leave multiple times." The officer looked uncomfortable. He didn't want to be there. "I'd suggest you leave, miss, and sort this out legally. No one wants this to escalate." I looked at my parents. My mother's face was stone. My father wouldn't meet my eyes. I got in my car with nothing but my purse and laptop bag. I didn't cry until I was 3 blocks away. I tried calling Tyler the next day, and the day after that. He finally texted back 2 days later. "You're making this harder than it needs to be. Just move on." I crashed on a friend's couch. I kept working, kept pretending everything was fine on client calls. A week later, I saw it. An Instagram story from my cousin Jenna. A big family dinner at my parents' house. The whole family was there. Aunts, uncles, cousins. The table was full. I scrolled through, my stomach twisting. I hadn't been invited. Jenna messaged me an hour later. "Wait, where were you tonight? I didn't even see you." I didn't know what to say. "Your mom said you were too busy with work." Too busy. They were erasing me, rewriting the story. I didn't respond. The next betrayal came at the grocery store. I ran into my Aunt Linda in the frozen food aisle. Her face went stiff the second she saw me. "Emma, honey." She hesitated. "Your mother told us you've been going through a hard time." "What do you mean?" Linda looked down at her cart. "She said you refused to get help, that you've been unstable since your grandma passed." My stomach dropped. "She said they had to ask you to leave for their own safety." Unstable? Safety? "That's not true," I said. "That's not what happened." Linda gave me this pitying look. "If you need anything, you know we're here. But maybe some distance is good right now." She didn't believe me. I stood there in the frozen aisle, shaking, while my aunt walked away. My parents had been spreading lies to the entire family. 2 days later, Tyler finally reached out. He wanted to meet for coffee. I thought maybe he was going to apologize, mediate, help. I was so stupid. He slid a manila folder across the table. "Just sign this," he said. "It makes everything easier." I opened it. It was a legal document, renouncing any claim to Grandma's estate. "She didn't leave much," Tyler said. "A few thousand, some jewelry. Mom and Dad handled everything. This just makes it official." I stared at him. Why would I need to sign away something I was never promised? He looked irritated. "Because you're making them uncomfortable. They think you expect something. Just sign it and move on." "No." Tyler's expression changed. The mask slipped. "You really want to do this the hard way?" he said quietly. "Fine. But don't come crying to us when you end up alone." I grabbed my bag and walked out. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely unlock my car. That night, I sat in my friend's tiny apartment, laptop open. I kept thinking about something Grandma had said. 6 months before she passed, she'd had one of her lucid moments. She grabbed my hand. "Emma, sweetheart, I need to tell you something important." Her eyes were clear, focused. "The house. Don't let them push you out." I thought she was confused, the dementia playing tricks. But she squeezed my hand harder. "I made sure. You'll see. Just don't sign anything." I didn't understand then. But sitting there in the dark, I opened a folder on my laptop. Inside were 2 years' worth of property tax payments, all in my name. Utility bills I'd been covering since I moved in, receipts for home repairs I'd paid for out of pocket, emails from my father thanking me for helping with the house expenses. I'd kept everything. And then I remembered. A voicemail. From a week after the funeral. I'd been too overwhelmed with grief to listen to it. I pulled it up now. "Emma, this is Robert Finch. I handled your grandmother's estate. There's something in the will you need to know about. Please call me back as soon as possible. My heart was racing. What they didn't know was that Grandma had been 3 steps ahead of them all along. I called Robert Finch first thing the next morning. He picked up on the second ring. Emma, thank you for calling back. His voice was kind, patient. I remembered him from the funeral. A quiet man in a gray suit who'd shaken my hand and told me how much my grandmother loved me. Your grandmother left specific instructions, he said. I've been trying to reach you. What kind of instructions? There was a pause. The house was left to you. I couldn't breathe. Your grandmother updated her will 8 months before she passed. Robert continued. She was evaluated by 2 physicians and deemed fully competent. The house, 4287 Maple Street, was left entirely to you. My parents were sent a copy of the will, Robert said. But I don't think they read it carefully. They've been acting as if they're the sole inheritors. I felt validated and terrified. This was going to destroy my family. What they did, locking you out, calling the police, that's illegal eviction. Robert said. You have legal ownership. We need to meet. I scheduled it for 2 days later. But my parents weren't done. My mother left a voicemail that night. If you don't sign Tyler's paperwork by Friday, we're done with you. Completely. The next day, my cousin Jenna called me. I don't know if I should tell you this, but your parents met with a real estate agent yesterday. My blood went cold. They're selling the house. My house. Tyler called that night, angry. Why are you being so difficult? He snapped. Just sign the paper. You're embarrassing yourself. I stayed calm. I'll have an answer for you soon. What does that mean? I hung up. 2 days later, a cease and desist letter arrived. From a lawyer my parents had hired. It demanded I stop harassing them. It claimed I had no legal right to any family assets. I forwarded it to Robert. His response came an hour later. Let me handle this. We'll set up a meeting. Bring your parents and Tyler. I agreed. I was terrified. But I was ready. The meeting was at Robert's office. Neutral ground. My parents and Tyler showed up looking smug, like this was just a formality. My mother looked at me. I hope you're ready to apologize. Tyler leaned in and whispered, just don't make a scene. I didn't say anything. Robert started. Thank you all for coming. We're here to discuss the estate of Mrs. Eleanor Harmon. My father interrupted. With all due respect, this is a family matter. Emma was a caregiver. Nothing more. Robert didn't blink. Actually, she was much more than that. He slid a document across the table, a certified copy of the will. Mrs. Harmon left her home, the property located at 4287 Maple Street, entirely to her granddaughter, Emma. Silence. My mother's face went white. Tyler leaned forward. That's impossible. She wouldn't. The will was updated 8 months before her passing. Robert said calmly. She was evaluated by 2 physicians and deemed fully competent. My father sputtered. We've been living in that house for 30 years. Yes, Robert said. And the will specifies you may continue to live there under Emma's discretion. Or she may choose to claim sole occupancy. I finally spoke. My voice was quiet, but steady. You locked me out. You called the police on me. My mother started. We didn't know. You didn't care, I said. You assumed I was nothing. Tyler's face was red. Come on. This is ridiculous. You can't actually. I cut him off. I have every email, every receipt, every utility bill I paid for the last 2 years. I kept the house running while you visited twice a year and complained about the Wi-Fi. Robert pulled out another folder. There's also the matter of the illegal eviction. Emma has grounds for a civil suit. My father tried to recover. We can work this out. Family doesn't need to go to court. You made it very clear I'm not family, I said. My mother's eyes filled with tears. I couldn't tell if they were real or not. We made a mistake, she said. You have to understand. We were grieving. I was grieving too, I said. Alone. While you planned how to cash in. Tyler's voice turned sharp. So what, you're just going to throw us out? I looked at him, really looked at him. I'm going to do exactly what Grandma wanted, and what she wanted was for me to be taken care of, not you. Robert's voice was calm and final. Emma has decided to retain ownership. You'll need to make arrangements. My parents and Tyler left. No shouting, no scene, just stunned, furious silence. I sat in the quiet office afterward, shaking. But I wasn't crying. I was free. 3 weeks later, I moved back into the house. My parents had moved in with Tyler temporarily. I heard it was awkward for everyone. I gave them scheduled days to pick up their belongings. They came and went in bitter silence. My mother sent one last text. I hope you're happy. You've destroyed this family. I didn't reply. I walked through the house, Grandma's house, my house now, and felt the weight lift. I repainted the guest room, made it my office, put up the art I'd always wanted to hang. Tyler sent one final message. You've changed. Grandma wouldn't want this. I typed back. Grandma knew exactly who you were. That's why she chose me. I blocked his number. Over the next few weeks, the extended family started learning the truth. Some of them apologized. Some stayed silent. I didn't chase their approval anymore. I planted flowers in the garden Grandma loved, the ones she used to point out to me on good days. I finally had space to grieve properly. For once, their silence didn't hurt me. It freed me. I'd spent years trying to earn love that was never going to be given freely. I wasn't the problem. I'd never been the problem. The house is quiet now, but it's mine. And that's enough. If this story hit home for you, I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button. Seriously, right now. I share real stories like this because I know so many of you have lived through something similar. Where are you watching from? Drop it below. I always check. And if you've ever had to stand up to family who underestimated you, tell me your story in the comments. You're not alone in this. I'll see you in the next one.